Hello everyone, my name's Mike, welcome to Tech Car Moon, and on this channel I talk about camera gear as well as technology and my opinions on them, so if you haven't already, please subscribe. But in this video I'm going to be talking about the newly announced Panasonic G90 versus the 2-year-old Panasonic G9 and which one you should go for as a filmmaker. Let's jump into it. So what am I talking about? Well, with the Panasonic G9, when that was first announced, the price of that was £1,499. Now, the Panasonic G90 is £899. So why am I comparing a camera that is twice as much? Because if you've been tracking the G9, it is actually very close to the G90 price. It's only about £200 difference. And the G9 is supposedly a professional camera, whereas the Panasonic G90 is an entry-level professional camera. So why would you consider the G90 as a filmmaker over the G9? Well, that's what this video is all about. Now, if you want the quick rundown to this video and you don't want to watch the whole video, basically the G90, in my opinion, as a filmmaker, is better than the G9. But this is a fantastic camera. I think the specs are really focused on filmmakers. Now, for all of you that want to know why, please stick around and I'll tell you why. So let's start with some of the specifications and what's the same between both of these cameras. So both of these can record 4K 1080p at high frame rates. They both have a microphone as well as a headphone jack, as well as HDMI output. They both have a 20 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. The layout in terms of all the function buttons are almost identical, and both of them have got inbuilt body stabilization. So on the outside of things, these two cameras are very much the same. Well, there are a few key points that make the G90 a far better camera for filmmakers. Now let's start with the 4K recording, because this is the subject that I hear a lot of people talking about. Let's get this out of the way. The Panasonic G9 does film in 4K 60 frames per second. However, this only lasts for 10 minutes. And on the G9, we've got 4K 24 and 30 frames per second, but only at a record time of 30 minutes. If you're going to be doing any kind of semi-professional work or just getting into the professional world, 30 minutes is just not long enough, because you're going to be doing weddings, speeches, lectures, all sorts of stuff just to get in work. And if you're limited by 30 minutes, I mean, unless if you've got the budget for another camera that you can just literally record as you're going through, then you're really going to struggle to not miss a thing. And let's be honest, it won't look good if you're cutting halfway through and then having to re-record straight away. You might have missed something and you can't exactly tell the sermon or whatever to stop while you just press record again. It just won't work. So on the Panasonic G90, you don't have those limitations, but you do miss out on the 4K 60 frames per second. On the 4K 24 and 30 frames per second, you can have unlimited recording. This is a must-have, especially for me as a filmmaker. I think that this is such a key feature to have. Now let's talk about only joking. Let's talk about Slowmo. So for us filmmakers, we absolutely love Slowmo footage for B-roll, for all these nice cinematic shots. Slowmo just gives it that extra bit of spice. Now with the 4K 60 frames per second, you can do Slowmo at 60 frames per second at 4K on the Panasonic G9, and you can't do that on the Panasonic G90. But I don't think that's as important as you may think. For the proper Slowmo footage, you really want 120 frames per second at least, because that really does give a much better cinematic feel to the footage. No offense to Peter McKinnon, obviously he uses 120 frames per second almost as a clutch, but there's probably a good reason why that his footage looks so good, because he's always filming in 120 frames, not 60 frames. For ease of use, 120 frames, as he mentions, is the way to go. One thing that I found out doing the research to this video is you can't film 120 frames per second at 1080 on the Panasonic G9. You can do it on the Panasonic G90, but not on the G9, which is really weird. You've got a high frame rate option of 180 frames per second on the G9. Well, that sounds better, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. The reason why I say this is because looking at the initial footage on the Panasonic G90 as well as the Panasonic G9, the 180 frames per second isn't as good as the 120 frames per second on the Panasonic G90. And my theory behind this is the 180 frames per second is filmed at a lower bit rate. So the quality just isn't as good. And if you're a filmmaker, obviously quality is next after the story. You really want to make sure that the quality doesn't hinder the story. So the crown for the Slowmo beast between these two cameras will have to go to the Panasonic G90 because the 120 frames per second is much better than the 180 frames on the Panasonic G9. Now there are a few things to mention as well, is that you only get full auto on the Panasonic G9 when it comes to 180 frames per second, which is almost unusable in pretty much any condition, because if it starts to change exposure or anything like that, that footage is ruined. Now on the Panasonic G90, you don't have to worry about that, but you are limited to single point and manual focus when it comes to the 120 frames per second. You don't get continuous autofocus, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. Now, if you're filming something in 1080p because you're trying to just get the footage out very quickly, one thing to note is we all like 24 frames per second, but on the Panasonic G9, you can't film in 24 frames per second at 1080p. What? I'm serious. Now you can technically record it, but that's an AVC HD. If you've ever tried to use that format, it's just rubbish. It's really hard to get off the SD card. It's not shareable. It's not easy to edit. It's not a very good format. The format you want is obviously MP4 at least. And on the Panasonic G9, you cannot film 1080p 24 frames per second in MP4. However, on the G90 you can film 24 frames per second at 1080p in MP4 format. Now if you're always going to be filming at 1080p, I wouldn't recommend this camera. There are much better dedicated 1080p cameras than this. This is more if you're interested in 4K, but if you need the 1080p option just to get some footage out quickly, then the Panasonic G90 is definitely the camera you have to go for. And for me, to not have that option on the G9 just rules that camera out completely. Now, the other thing to mention is the Vlog. You don't get Vlog on the G9. So the dynamic range when you're filming is going to be far better on the Panasonic G90. And don't underestimate Vlog, because this will give you the best dynamic range, and when you're color grading, you will be very thankful that you've got Vlog on your camera. Now, both cameras, just to mention, obviously film in 8-bit as well as 420 internal, or alternatively, you can film at 422 8-bit externally. Both cameras don't have 10-bit, so there's no advantage between the two on that front. Now, you may say that the Panasonic G9 has dual SD card slots, and all professionals have to have dual SD card slots. Well, if you have a look at some of the competition, like the Nikon Z6 or the Canon EOS R or RP, they both have single SD card slots, and they're a lot more expensive than the Panasonic G90. And those are supposed to be professional cameras. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. Now that's enough of me ranting about both the cameras. Let's jump into the conclusion. If you haven't guessed already, the Panasonic G90 is the camera to go for, just because of all the good and amazing video features that the Panasonic G90 offers. If you're mainly focused on photography, then yes, the 6.5 stops of stabilization when it comes to photography is absolutely fantastic. You only get 5 stops on the Panasonic G90, but I'm not looking at photography, I'm looking at filmmaking. It just has everything I need as a filmmaker. But obviously this is a discussion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I really want to hear your opinion on this subject. I think I can't be the only one comparing the two cameras, or have compared the two cameras and deciding which camera do I go for. And I hope this video helped you. If it has, please leave a thumbs up. Share this video with anyone that's struggling with the same situation. And obviously, if you haven't already, please subscribe. That really does help me out. But until the next video, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.